Hello, Rachel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you for
Can you hear me?
joining in. Hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm trying to navigate this.
Yeah, you have to turn on your camera. Oh, that's nice.
This
Thank you. Thank you.
camera
Thank you.
setting.
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
you. We can see you. Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking out time to be part of this conversation. For everyone who doesn't know, this is Miss Unique Rachel Williams. She is one of the top selling realtors, right? She came into the industry in 2022, worked as a marketing manager for Cove Real Estate and Construction, independently as CC Landlady. And in the recent 3 years, she has been able to close real estate deals of up to 100 million naira. And she won an award just last year, right, as top sales champion for Cove Real Estate and Construction. So thank you very much for joining in, Miss Rachel.
Welcome. Thank you for having me, Mr.
Yes,
Dennis.
yeah, thank you. So the conversation for today basically is men versus women in real estate. Why do men buy and why should men buy, right? And the first question basically that we have is, in your experience, what exactly are the key differences in how men and women approach real estate investment?
Hey, once again, thank you for having me. To answer your question, I think from my years of experience and interactions with both men and women, the one thing that
Mm,
stands out when men buy real estate or the way they approach real estate really is mostly, mind you, we cannot speak for everybody. Okay, so I'm speaking for most men that I have interacted with. They buy mostly
yeah.
for family purposes and legacy. So
Mm,
you see a typical man buying properties, they are telling you, oh, I have to buy for my children. They are telling you stuff like, oh, I want to leave, I want to leave an inheritance for my children. Okay. So most men buy for family and for legacy. For women, mostly it's about two things, either as a way to save money or for wealth acquisition. For women, that's how women
oh,
approach real estate. You hardly hear a woman say they are buying for legacy or for family purposes. It's usually either as a way to,
mm.
oh, I've made so much money, let me buy and save in properties, or just to accrue wealth. Yes.
Okay, so um, from your own personal experience, is there a reason why that is so, or is that just how the genders typically approach investments?
I think, of course, I'm going to speak from what I have heard men and women say,
Yeah,
especially when it comes
definitely.
to real estate. For men, I think they do that because they feel the need to. Of course, we know that typically a man is expected to provide for the family, right? And so
Mm, mm,
the chunk of provision is resting on the shoulder of a man. And in
mm,
Africa, a man is gauged by how much inheritance he's leaving for his children. So when a man wants to die, they are thinking, oh, you hear, there are very few women that have wills unless they become powerful and very wealthy. That's when they begin to think in the line of will. Oh, let me write a will for women. Hardly have the time to do all of that. Okay.
oh,
I
that.
mean, in the now we have more Gen Z, modern women are beginning to think in that direction. But this is mostly something that you find with
Mm,
the men. The men want to, oh, I need to leave inheritance for my children. I need to leave this for them. So you see, this is why they do what they do because the chunk of provision is the job of providing for the home is resting on the shoulder of a man. So they are thinking of better ways to make sure that their children live comfortable lives. So yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much for that insightful answer. So another question I have basically is, so for the men you've encountered and then the women also you've encountered in your personal experience, what challenges do they have in that they already have the intention of buying, so but for some reason maybe it takes them longer than expected to actually make that commitment. So for the men, what do you think is the challenge as to why having made the decision of investing, they start to drag or take too long? And then if women also have those type of similar experiences when it comes to buying.
Okay, I'm going to speak for the men, seeing that most of my clients are males. I think one unique challenge that I have noticed with men is they do not have the patience to think long term. By that, um, I would tell you that most people who have bought properties, knowing fully well that, oh, I'm buying this property in a place where it's not ready to be developed anytime soon, which is where the land banking thing coming. So they are buying. You're letting them know from the onset that, oh, this is um a long-term investment. So if you're buying this property, you have to be aware that it's a long-term investment. You cannot build it now. You can probably not even sell it now. But watch those same people, they'll come back to you in less than 2 years and they're saying, oh, I want to sell this property. And in my head, I'm like, did you not hear the long term when I was telling you about this property? So men do not always have the time to think long term. They want to buy in bustling cities. This is the challenge that most of them make that they have. Okay, you hear people say, I have a client that I've been trying to sell to for a while. All this one has been saying is, I want to buy here. My friend has property here. He said you sold to him. And I'm like, okay, so how much do you have? Because this person bought when this property was like 12 million and is currently selling at 40 million. So how much do you have now? And this person is telling, oh, I don't have 40 million, I don't have 50 million. But you're looking at the city, you're eyeing the city, you're eyeing a developed place when you very well know that your pockets cannot afford that place. I think that is the most challenge that I've had with my male clients. Okay, the impatience when it comes to properties. Yes,
Yeah. So I also want to ask, is there an ego thing in play, right? From because what you've said now is, first of all, you are seeing a location where the budget that you have is not entirely enough. Is it an ego thing for them to honestly tell you that, look, this is what I have, or what
I think that's what it is.
exactly?
That is that is what it is. Okay, I recently had um a conversation with a client that I took for inspection. Actually, it wasn't the client; it was his I think he sent his sister and her husband, something like that, because he's not in town. And so we went to see the property. I had given this young man, oh, these are our properties available. These are the places where we have properties. And so he says, okay, fine, let's go, let's see it. And he sent people to join me to see the properties. And the people went back and told him, ah, that place is far, it's bush, And he came back and said, they said that it's a bushy area. I said, did I hide that from you? I didn't hide it from you. But you specifically asked to see that property. Shows that this is what you can currently afford. Because I believe that instinctually, you see that there's a catalog of properties, and this is selling for say 700,000, and there's another one selling for 8 million or 17 million. It technically tells you that these places are the prices are fixed according to their locations. Do you understand? So the one of 17
Yeah.
million is probably going to be in a much more developed or developing place compared to the one that is going for 700,000. But you see, knowing this person still said, let's go and see it. And as we speak, the person is yet to close the deal because the person is still thinking, they said that place is bush. And what she currently have is 700,000. So this is definitely your ego in play. They've told you, oh, this is bush. And so you cannot buy because in your head, this man, why am I buying there? When I can buy in the city and you cannot afford the city yet. So it is definitely ego play here.
So, what would you then advise? For example, this type of scenario. So he wants to buy, but then he's seeking the opinion of family and friends. So, in him seeking opinions of family and friend versus his intention, so they are telling him it's far, is this, is that, and then this is his own intention. So, how would you advise men who are in that type of situation to, what's it called now? Is it to stick to their decision, stick to their resolve, or how do they come out of all of those things to finally make a buying decision? You understand?
Okay. When I wanted to get my first property, I was not yet a realtor. But the one thing I did was to speak with a real estate consultant. And that is what people do not know. So you just want to speak to family members. And family members are just family members. Family members, because they think they want your best interest, they would advise you to get in the city because, of course, they want to be able to visit you in the city, if at all. Okay? But
Yeah.
you have to also understand that family members would think emotions over logic, which is why it is important to speak to people who are going to be unbiased about telling you. One of the things that I love about my brand is beyond just selling real estate, I just like to educate people. I have lots of people who come to my DM who call me and they're just like, oh, I want to buy this property. I want to hear what's your advice. They're not buying from me, but they understand the need to consult with a real estate broker or someone who is an expert in the field. And sometimes I'm like, okay, see, this is what you should check for. Has this, oh, okay, I think you should go ahead and buy. Or I think you should consider here instead of here. This is how this thing goes. But if you want to listen to family members, like the young man is listening to, you will discover that those family members will come back to you and they'll say, please, I need 700K. Me, I need 200K. I need to, and at the end of the day, the money that you saved up to get a property, you will use to solve family needs. And of course, we're not saying that you shouldn't solve family needs, but we also understand the importance of investing. So I would advise that people pay attention to real estate brokers and experts. Consult with a real estate person instead of consulting with family. It would have been fair if this person spoke to someone who had knowledge in real estate and the person came back and said, oh, I don't think I want to buy here. But simply hearing that you're not buying because of family, it tells me that you do not yet understand where you should channel that focus to. So yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting one. Which leads me to my next question. So, what advice would you give men who I think currently a lot of people already understand what investment is all about, but then for some
Okay.
reason they're a bit hesitant. And then you talked about it in the beginning. You said one of the reasons men always want to buy, invest in real estate basically because of the financial need. They're thinking of their children and all of those things. So if that's a decision making factor for them, why are they still hesitant? And for them being hesitant, what would you like advise in terms of, okay, how do you
Okay.
push past your obstructive thoughts to actually make that decision because it's in your best interest, right?
Okay. Like I usually say, the worst time to buy real estate is tomorrow. And the best time to buy real estate was yesterday. Okay. So if you are not yet a property owner, you're already too late. You are already too late. Check this out.
Mm,
I think a few years ago, I and my friends, I had just started off. I started working. I needed to, growing up already, I was already thinking, oh, investment, you have to do this, you have to do that. So I already started thinking investment. And so I said, okay, I said, I never feel buy land. Let me buy shares. And so I bought shares in the market and one of the telecommunication company, I think so. And as I speak with you, sir, my shares are still almost worth nothing.
mm,
But the property I bought 2 years ago is already times three of the price that I bought it. Now, this goes to tell you that there is no, if you do not yet have, you're already late, right?
mm,
And people need to understand that beyond just buying for legacy, you buy this thing as a way to accrue wealth because most of the billionaires that we celebrate in the country and beyond have um their wealth rooted in real estate.
mm,
They may not tell you because that's not what they want, that's not the niche that they've created about themselves. They may not tell you because that's not what they want to be known for. But at the end of the day, when you begin to speak with these people, you begin to find out that, oh, this man has 3,000 plots here. He has this amount of properties here. And these things generate wealth for them. These things generate wealth for them. So you see that the the importance of buying real estate assets cannot be overemphasized. So if you're still dulling, dragging your feet, deciding on why to buy property, you should do it knowing that there are so many assets that I can recommend to you as it stands right now, but nothing will beat real estate because crypto. I've dealt with crypto and I've lost so much money. And as at the time I was doing it, I was hoping for to cash out to become the next Bill Gates and Elon Musk. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to, oh God, crypto. I lost a lot of money. I have done businesses that have failed somehow. I have also, there are so many places I've invested my money, and I can tell you, I'm not just speaking as a broker, I'm speaking to you as someone who is also an investor in the real estate industry. And I can tell you for free that nothing has beat real estate because real estate cannot be moved. It's not something that, oh, um, something is coming, so let me pack up and leave. You cannot pack up real estate. The most that will happen at the end of the day is you sell. If the government see any reason to eye your property, they would pay you for it. At the end of the day, you're still making money one way or another. There are several ways to make money in real estate, either by buying and selling of real estate assets or leasing land properties or even leasing houses. I know somebody who I personally don't even like to buy a house or build a house and sell. I actually or let houses, right? So I have friends that we've been in this thing for a long time, and they'll tell you that they would rather now that they have houses, they rather just do land because at the end of the day, for instance, if I'm selling, I stay in NTA Road, so if I'm selling the property where I'm living right now, and my neighbor has a parcel of land in the same place, of course, that is not built, I'm telling you that they would go for almost the same price. Whereas I'm staying in a house that probably costs somebody to build 100 million to erect.
Mm,
But when they want to sell a land that is beside that place and they want to sell the same house, if the land is 50 million, the house is going to probably be 55 million at most. So at the end of the
mm,
day, this is not this. I don't say this in public because um I sell houses and I want you to buy house. But when I speak to my close um friends, I let them know that there is even more investment power in land than in houses, because with land you can lease them and still get to own them. If I lease a property to you for 10 years, at the end of the 10 years you leave, it is still mine, but I made money while at it. Do you understand? So the importance of buying real estate cannot be, nobody ever speaks about it enough, because it is always in need. The population is tripling and people will need places to stay. So at every
yeah,
point in time, if you are not a tenant to somebody, at least have a land of your own where if you're chased out of wherever you are, you have somewhere to call yours. Own a piece of
um,
the earth. Basically, everybody should
ba-
own a piece of the earth.
So, what would you say is your own personal driving force? Because apparently, apart from you um, being a broker selling this, you also have your own personal investments. So for you personally, what drove you? Why did you understand that you needed to have these things?
Okay, so growing up, I'm not coming from a very wealthy family, so I saw the struggle of, oh, paying rent, where you have to be
Mm,
denied certain pleasures because daddy is trying to save up money to pay rent. I remember one of the times where, oh, there were so much arguments between my parents. You should have used your pension to do this one. You should have used your this to buy, and you didn't buy. Now we are also looking for houses. Do you understand? So in
yeah.
my house, almost everybody has a landed property. Once you have a job, because of me, I had to drive it into everybody's head. You must own at least one plot of land so that your children, you're not starving them later when they come. So for me, because I have seen what it means to have to struggle to raise the rent, I understand that I should buy my property. But also because I am a woman of wealth, I like to, like I told you at the beginning of this interview, while men mostly buy for legacy and family, women buy as a way to accrue wealth. Okay? So while we are also praying to get married to wealthy men who already have properties, we need to have our own money. And one of the ways to have your own money is to have it in investments. Okay? So I have a property, I can sell it anytime, cash out 10 million, buy a car if that's what I want per time. So those kind of things. Yeah, I think that's one of my driving force basically, to become somebody of wealth and affluence.
Oh, thank you very much. I really, I think those who would listen to this later on will find lots of inspiration from it. And the men will be challenged, yeah, and then the women will also be inspired. So I want to say thank you very much for taking our time to have this session with us. We really, really appreciate it. So for those of you interested in buying land or understanding more about land, feel free to contact us for more information. And then you can also look up CC Landlady online so you can also get to share in a wealth of experience and see what she also has to offer. So from us to you all, thank you very much. And we hope to have this another time.
Thank you.
And, yeah, thank you
Sure.
very much. Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah. So there you have it. It was an interesting session with Miss Unique, and the conversation basically is about men versus women in real estate. Why do men buy? Why should men buy? Right? And from her perspective, she has made us understand as well as a lady that most of the time men buy for legacy, children and all of those things. And if you really think about it, it's true. right? So owning a piece of land now is like a strategic first step to securing financial freedom in the nearest future. I personally, I own few plots of land somewhere I wouldn't share. So for those of you who understand what is going on when you look at the economy today, right? And you're thinking, look, I need to start taking a decision. Now is the right time because as inflation is going up, the value of landed assets, right, real estate assets keep going up. And that's why they are one of the best in, time immemorial. So thank you, everyone. And we look forward to having this again tomorrow, right? Yes, tomorrow. Peace.